The horror wasn't just dying alone in the cold. People in nearby rooms swore they could hear prayers, scratching, or soft singing from the walls for nights after the execution. Next comes a fate just as slow but far more public, being caged for the world to see day after day as winter cold and life slipped away. Next is number 10, oubliette. Starvation forgotten in the dark. Some prisons have walls, but an oubliette is just a hole. Medieval castles all over France and England hid these trapdoor shafts deep below ground. The word oubliette comes from French, meaning to forget. The condemned fell or climbed down a ladder, and then heard the stone caps slide shut. Total blackness in winter cold that never relented. No standing room, no bed. Usually no food or water. In
This
winter,
design ensures
temperatures in
maximum
these
suffering,
underground pits
yet
dropped
maintains
below
the
freezing.
subject for further
Prisoners died of
questioning.
hypothermia before starvation could finish them. Jailers threw down scraps. Sometimes bread. Sometimes nothing. Rats and insects were the only company. After a few days, the mind plays tricks. Prisoners scratched names, prayers, or random lines into stone with their fingernails, scratches still visible centuries later in places like Pontefract Castle. English records mention prisoners lowered in and simply left. No trial, no sentence, just silence and cold. Once memory faded, even families stopped asking. During renovations, workers would find bones tangled at the bottom, a haunting reminder that some punishments didn't end until nature finished the job. And while oubliettes worked by hiding death, the next execution made sure everyone saw what was coming day after day, until there was nothing left but bones swinging in the winter breeze. Let's move to number 9, hanging in iron cages. The living gibbet. Imagine a punishment that keeps you alive, suspended over the world with nowhere to go. The iron cage, sometimes called the living gibbet, was more than just a death sentence. In towns from Germany to England, people guilty of robbery, rebellion, or just angering the wrong lord were locked in a human-sized metal cage and hung from tall poles at crossroads or castle gates. At first, the prisoner was alive, left with only the food. Locals tossed up sometimes bread, sometimes stones. Birds landed on the bars, pecking for scraps of flesh. Flies swarmed wounds, day after day. Crowds gathered to jeer or gawk. In hot summers, people died of thirst
Be quiet,
or
they'll
heat.
hear you.
But in winter,
Hear us, we are
they
starving.
froze, and that death was slower, more visible. Winter-caged prisoners survived longer because cold preserved them, making the spectacle last weeks instead of days. Stories from Nuremberg and Bruges tell of condemned men surviving for a week, calling for water
The jewels
until
are
their
hidden beneath the
throats
third
bled,
stone.
their
Find them
cries
before he
echoing
returns.
across frozen market squares. Some cages were reused, so victims saw names and scratchings from others who'd swung there before. In England, the infamous body cages along the Thames became winter tourist attractions. Once the prisoner died, nobody rushed to clean up. Skeletons sometimes hung for years, rattling in winter wind as warning to everyone passing by. And if you thought being
I don't
trapped was
understand
bad,
why this is
the
happening.
next fate was even
Please
heavier.
protect us
Crushed
from the
under
winter's
stone
wrath.
with every breath, a struggle for survival. Next is number 8, peine forte et dure. Crushed for silence.
The
Refusing
others
to
are
enter a
coming.
plea wasn't brave.
Please,
It
you
was
must
fatal.
help me now.
Peine forte et dure, hard and forceful punishment, was the official name for one of the slowest ways to die. The condemned lay flat on frozen ground, arms outstretched as heavy boards or doors were placed on top. Then came the stones. First a few, then more, sometimes hundreds of pounds, stacked until the weight crushed the chest. Victims begged for mercy. But the process was designed to break their will. Some lasted for days, spitting blood, rib snapping one by one. In rare cases, jailers slipped bread or water between stones to keep the person alive in winter. The cold air they could still breathe made survival even longer and more agonizing. In England, Giles Corey, accused at the Salem witch trials, famously demanded more weight with every question, holding out for 3 full days before the end. Why suffer this? Sometimes refusing to plead meant your land and goods went to your family, not the crown. So the silence became a legacy, a desperate, painful act of defiance. Next, we step away from human hands and let nature's giants take over execution by elephant, where power meant life or death in a single stomp. Here comes number 7, execution by elephant, stomped and torn apart. While Europe had wheels and gibbets, South and Southeast Asia unleashed their own show of force, death by elephant. These enormous animals were trained for years not just to kill, but to obey complex signals from their handlers. A royal command, and the elephant would crush the condemned underfoot, toss the body, or even rip off limbs in front of thousands of witnesses. Reports from India, Sri Lanka, and parts of the Middle East describe executions in packed public squares. Some rulers used elephants for quick deaths, a single stomp over in a flash. Others preferred slow punishment, ordering the animal to toy with the condemned.
Silence, witch!
Pinning
You're
them,
coming with us!
then tossing them into the air, or stepping only on their arms or legs. Portuguese and Mughal chroniclers alike wrote of criminals begging for mercy at the feet of the king's elephant.
Silence,
The next
midwife.
fate
Your healer
returns
days are
us
over.
to fire. But not the kind you'd expect. Imagine your last moments spent over glowing coals with no escape but through flame. Let's move to number 6. Burned on iron grates and braziers. Fire meant death. But the iron grate raised pain to a new level. Instead of a quick burning at the stake, the condemned was stretched over a metal grill or large brazier. The executioner piled hot coals underneath, roasting the body inch by inch slow. Relentless, utterly public. Records from Hungary, Poland, and Italy describe heretics, rebels, and traitors enduring this fate. In 1476, Vlad the Impaler reportedly roasted prisoners alive on iron grills while he sat nearby eating dinner. The stench filled city squares,
Let me out of here!
drawing both horror and
Please,
curiosity.
Stop this!
When the ordeal
I can't
finally
take it
ended,
anymore! Why am I
bones
here?
left black
Please
and
stop
brittle,
this!
the metal was sometimes saved as sacred relic, a warning against rebellion. Some claimed the smell lingered for weeks. These are just 12 of the 20 most terrifying execution methods medieval Europe used. From starvation collars and wheels of thorns to drowning ordeals and decorative dismemberment. From dungeon death to the final tightening of the garrote's iron collar, each method served a specific purpose in the machinery of medieval social control.
The invaders
And
seek
winter
to break our
made
faith.
every
They
single
seek to
one
steal our
worse.
lands.
The cold
But we
preserved
are the
bodies
sons and-
longer as
Rise up,
worms.
my brothers and
Hypothermia
sisters. The time
added
of
torture
waiting is over.
layers.
The dawn
Frozen
is
crowds
upon us,
desperate for
and we
distraction
must
packed
seize it.
tighter around scaffolds. If you want more historical reality that destroys comfortable myths, subscribe to Flow of History. We're just getting started revealing what actually happened behind the legends.